Ho ho ho! Time to assemble the PCS Darth Vader Fine Arts bust, but you know I have to. I think I'm more like Dark Helmet than Darth Vader. Give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own. Today on the review table, we have the PCS Darth Vader Fine Art Bust Deluxe Edition. What a mouthful.
That's a who's that.
This is one of my most anticipated statues because if you're a follower of the channel, you know that I love Vader. I think Vader is the coolest villain in all of pop culture history for so many reasons. And I'm glad that they've expanded on him in the Star Wars universe. Like when I saw him in the Obi-Wan series and some of the other ones, it's so freaking cool. So anyway, this is made by PCS, and it's a new theme they came out with a while back, and it incorporates a character, and they do that in a bust, so like a portrait, and then they'll do storylines around that. They started with this Maximum Carnage piece that I actually own. And since then, they've put out a number of different properties, including Star Wars, where they have a Boba Fett that's in production right now. They have a Venom, they have a Wolverine, they have a Hulk. This and that Carnage are the only ones I'm interested in. Those are the storylines I'm attached to. And this is finally here, and it does not disappoint. Oh, thank God. I thought there was a chip in Vader's helmet. I did have a chip in the box. I can't find where it's at on here, though. So, son of a bitch, PCS did it. This statue is not without its flaws, but it is incredibly cool. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've owned probably over 50 Star Wars collectibles. This is a really old video right here. I'm sitting in Palpatine's chair. You can check out this video as well. But today we're going to talk about the Fine Arts bust, and it's kind of difficult because there's so many different parts to this, and you have to look at it from so many different angles, and unfortunately you guys are looking at a 2D screen wherever you're at. So I'm going to start off with the concept of the piece and try and cover everything, but there's close-up video later, so stay tuned for that. So this is Vader's life, his story, and we see a number of different parts. They didn't put anything in from when he was a child, which kind of would have been cool, but I think they hit my favorite storylines at least. So it's made on a lava base, which is where kind of Vader was born, obviously, and they show him, Anakin, actually fighting Obi-Wan right before his transformation. That's on one side of it. You have him kneeling to the Emperor. I believe that's from Empire Strikes Back. Here you have Luke blowing up the Death Star and Vader chasing him down from A New Hope. And then, of course, on the back you have Vader with the Empire above him. And this is all built around Vader's tower, actually, is also in the back. And then it's built around an actual bust of Vader. This one almost needs to be like displayed at a 360. And where I'm going to display, you can see almost every single side. So I'm really excited about that. If you want to see where it looks like in the collection, do two things. Number one, make sure you've not only subscribed to the channel because we have a room tour coming very soon, but I will also post exclusive photos on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So, amazing concept. They captured all the key ones. How they incorporated it into this, I think, is really, really cool. Some of the other ones, I just didn't like the way they incorporated the storylines. So, this is fantastic. I think I would give this a 6 out of 5 if that was possible for the concept. But 5 out of 5, one of the coolest things I've ever seen. To me, this may be the only Star Wars collectible you need. But I have an entire wall of Star Wars. And again, stay tuned for the room tour to see that. Design, equally impressive. While it's not without its flaws, we'll talk about that. Let's dive in with the unboxing and assembly first. Came in 2 different boxes. The weight wasn't that bad. The weight's not bad as a whole. Your traditional PCS packaging, foam and straps. The first box had one layer. They both had one layer, and it's always packed really well. So you have the plastic around each piece, then the cutout foam. Here's the second box with a lot of the extra pieces. All right, so when you talk about how wide it is, that's kind of hard to determine because what's the front, what's the back. So we'll try here, but it looks about 16 inches wide. The base is probably about 17 inches. And then, of course, you know, like Vader's hand in the back sticks out further. Then the top of the helmet is right under 23 inches. So good size to display, meaning it fits in most cabinets. Also, it's a large size altogether. Yeah, you saw at the intro when I put the helmet on, it's probably pretty accurate for Vader. Now, they made two versions, deluxe and regular. I have the deluxe. I don't know what the difference is, and I can't find it because it's not on their website anymore. But something all of them have, which is probably the coolest part, is the light up feature. So it's a button on the back, it's an AC adapter, and it is truly incredible. It lights up the lava, it lights up the lightsabers. It lights up Palpatine. It's wow. This is a must plug in, must display it like this, especially when we talk about the paint and sculpt. You'll see that in the close-up video. It's much better with the light up feature on. Now, a few design issues. I wouldn't really call them issues, maybe issues. One is how close Vader is kneeling and he's facing. I'm not a fan because it's like he's looking not even at the Emperor and to the side. I think that's a negative. The way some of this is pieced together at the front looks kind of crappy, especially with the light up feature off that you see here. And then some small QC issues, but nothing too bad. You're going to see that in the paint and sculpt. And I really like how everything fit together. I love how the Vader chasing Luke, they use these little translucent poles so it looks like it's floating. I love how they're making the Empire ships float. And they key right into the helmet and they've made that into a Death Star. Design, it's not perfect, but it's very ambitious and it's done really well. Also a 5 out of 5 for me. Paint and sculpt, definitely not a 5 out of 5, but let's dive in and see why. So the question is where to start when you talk about the paint and sculpt. There's so much going on, and really I think there's two minor flaws on this. So this isn't one of the flaws, but you're already getting fingerprints on the helmet, but I think it's perfect shine. I've seen quarter scale, third scale, where the helmet itself is too dark or too light. I think this is fantastic. And then the transition of colors. So here it's moving over to kind of the blue that's off-putting from the Emperor. And then on the other side, the grooves turn into the Death Star. And look at the micro detail that they have in there. It is actually really impressive, and it's followed by the ships. And not just the micro detail, but these PVC cheap ships look really nice. And they've even done things like colored this side of the ship so it looks like it's a shadow transitioning from the helmet, which I think that was incredibly smart. And then as you continue to look at different things like the larger Vader figure here, you know, I'm not a purist of Star Wars, so I'm sure somebody can tell me if something's wrong with the costume. But the paint is really clean, which I was surprised by. With a piece this complex, you'd expect a little more sloppy, a little more bleed over, and there's certainly a little bit of that, but I think PCS did a nice job with quality control. And then the sculpt in paint in general, like looking at Anakin and Obi-Wan, these are about 1/7 scale, I would say, maybe 1/8, and the likeness is there. It's not great, but the smaller a statue is, the harder it is to capture that detail. And while the likeness is good, but not great, the detail on the costumes, I think, is really nice. I mean, look at the flow, look at the creases in the boots, the folds in the pants, the belt buckle and the satchel. Pretty damn impressive in my opinion. I think before I go to one of the misses, this is when Vader was chasing Luke in A New Hope when he was about to blow up the Death Star. Even look at that tiny detail that they put in. And this is pretty small. To put it in perspective, here's my hand. So that's really incredibly impressive. So the two areas I think they could have improved. I love the flow and the color of the Emperor, but the portrait is a miss. You know, that almost looks like the Emperor, the newer Emperor, where that should be one from Empire, I believe. That's where Vader was kneeling on that saucer, whatever you want to call it. So I think the portrait's a definite miss. Thankfully, it's looking down. Unless you're displaying this really high, you're not going to see that. But I do approve the colors. And then the other miss, and I wouldn't really call this a miss, but the lava. You know, when you're creating this, you have to decide, do I want to make it look better without the light up feature or with the light up feature? And they clearly chose with the light up feature, so you sacrifice the quality now. Like, it's too red, doesn't look great. And even the smoke billowing up here, it's not bad, but it's definitely not good. I do like how it's a little bit different. So like these clouds up here are fully polystone, or at least filled in resin, where you have a translucency over here. I personally like the translucency better in fire and flame. I've had statues with both. I think you can do non-translucent decent. This isn't it. But overall, with so much stuff going on, I think they knocked it out of the park with the paint and the sculpt. So I'm going to give the sculpt a 3 out of 5. I think it's good. I think it's nothing phenomenal or exceptional. I think it's what you paid for. The paint, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5. Despite me seeing some chipping on some of the back right here. That's not really paint issue, but hopefully it doesn't chip more over time. Value on this. This was an expensive piece. I think retails $2,200. Plus shipping was quite a bit, because those, you saw the boxes. So you're like $2,500 all in. And this is one of the highest edition sizes they made in a while. The bottom said $999. So that's a lot. It's still available from PCS. You can check out links below to buy it from PCS and other places. Finding someone who would pay me $2,500 plus shipping for this is probably not going to happen, because they made so many of them. Although I do conclude this is probably the coolest Star Wars collectible I've ever seen. I'm already going to give it that award. So you might have people who don't buy statues who would just buy this. So you do have a bigger audience. Star Wars has a huge fandom over the last 50 years. So I think if it's sold out, one day I could make my money back, because Darth Vader's not going anywhere. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 on the value. Now, does it have the X factor? Is it a 5 out of 5 statue? Of course it is. This is phenomenal. This is everything I hoped for. Well done, PCS. Keep making new concepts. While I'm not buying any of the ones you have right now, there just may be another one. Although PCS doesn't just make stuff for me, obviously. Really impressed by them, so thank you so much. Happy to have this in my collection. I'm even more happy that everybody here watched. Depending on when you watch this, we are very close to a 40,000 subscriber giveaway, so this is how to get in on that stuff. I don't know why I'm pointing that way. Statue's right there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Yes, we're still giving away $1,000 statues at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. You have to make sure you're subbed to the channel, you like the video, and then leave a comment. We're going to pick a random comment on a random video and give away those statues. In the meantime, check out some of these other videos and my social media. Talk to you soon. Take care.